Today is a great day. I'm finally gonna take out my old foggy headlights and replace them with some Raxiom dual halo projector headlights with smoked lenses. I'm so excited to finally get these things in. It's gonna really change the look of my front end, and I just got my grille delete in, so it should really start to tie things together. But first, let me show you what's in the box. What you get with these headlights is pretty simple. Just 2 headlights and 4 wire connectors. When I read reviews on these headlights, some say that you should use different connectors, and so I tried some ones that I bought off of Amazon and ended up just using the ones that came with the headlights. For a few months, I still haven't had any problems with the original connectors. I also read a couple complaints about these headlights, one being that the tint starts to crack and peel off. I've had them for a few months now and haven't experienced that yet, but we'll see what happens when I give it a year or so. The other complaint is that you can't see well with these headlights at night due to the smoked lenses. I haven't had a problem with the tint, but I will say that these headlights are very difficult to adjust correctly, and I really wasn't able to get them where they should be pointing, but I got them to where I can tolerate them. To be honest, they aren't the most functional headlights, but I do like the way they look. I'll have another video soon to show how to adjust them, and it might deter you from actually getting these headlights because they are kind of awkward to drive with, but I'll save that for the next video. This installation is actually pretty simple. First, pop the hood and disconnect the negative terminal from the battery. The next step is to remove your old headlights. To remove the headlights, just pull out the 2 pins. Pull the headlight out just enough so that you can reach the headlight electrical harness and disconnect it. Then move over to the turn signal light, and as per usual, just go ahead and break off that connector tab because it's old and useless. Then disconnect the harness and remove the headlight. Then repeat those steps on the other headlight. Take out the turn signal bulbs from your old headlights. Just turn them counterclockwise and pull them out. Remove the sticker cover on the new headlights. Put the old turn signal bulb in and turn it clockwise to lock it in place. And do the same for the other headlight. This is where I discovered that someone put my bumper on incorrectly, which might be why my headlight was broken. When you buy a car that was once owned by someone's friend who was a mechanic, you find all sorts of surprises like this. Pardon me while I remove my bumper and put it on correctly. And there we go. Now it looks the same on both sides. I am ready to install these headlights. I'm not sure what your turn signal wiring looks like, but mine was taped up pretty heavily, and you'll need to gain access to the individual wires. So you can remove the tape with a box knife. Obviously be careful not to cut the wires underneath the tape. You just need to expose the wires enough to give you room to fit the connectors over them. Let me just give you a quick look at these connectors up close so you have a better idea of what's going on. On these connectors you have 2 channels to hold wires in place with a metal piece in the middle. That metal piece has 2 slits in it. Those slits are just narrow enough to cut through the shielding on the wire, but wide enough not to cut through the center conductors of the wire. When the metal piece makes contact with the center conductors on both wires, it allows current to flow from one wire through the metal piece and into the other wire. Maybe you already know this, but I think it's a cool design and worth talking about. The end of one channel on the connector is actually closed off. This tells you that the wire from the headlight goes into that channel. That is also why you want to cut off the exposed wire. The metal piece on the conductor cuts into the shield and helps hold the wire in place. The exposed wire isn't necessary and it just gets in the way. Place the channel with the 2 open ends over the turn signal wire. Then insert the wire from the headlight into the other channel of the connector. Push it in as far as it will go, Hold both of the wires in place, then use pliers to clamp the metal piece down to secure the connection. The wires coming from the headlight are connected to the halos. You have the option to connect the wires to the main headlight, or you can connect them to the parking light on the side. I'm just telling you, you definitely want to connect them to the parking light so that you can turn the halos on without turning on your headlights. It gives you more options for photo ops, which is obviously what you want. The parking lights are connected by 3 separate wires: a black wire, a brown wire, and a white wire. There's 2 wires coming from your halos, a black wire and a blue wire. To connect the halos to the parking light, just connect the black wire to the black wire and the blue wire to the brown wire. And leave the white wire alone. Once you have the connector secure, reconnect your battery and test out the headlights. This is what it should look like with your headlights fully on. Here's the headlight with just the parking light on, then low beams and high beams. After you test your headlights and ensure that they're working properly, put them all the way in. Make sure to fit these pegs into those holes. Once the headlight is securely in place, drop the 2 pins in their slots. Now repeat the whole process on the other side. Here's a look at these headlights when they're off. Then with the parking lights on, low beams and high beams. Alright, well that turned out to be way more complicated with a lot more obstacles than anticipated, but the job is done and they look pretty good. So I thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm definitely not a car guy, but I hopefully will be. Giddy up!